week on the show, we have transformation and mindset coach, Kari Ghanem. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show is all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about the importance of seeing life as full of endless possibilities. Too often, our sense of wonder is overshadowed by the mundane routines of daily life. As we get busy and encounter failures, our initial excitement is frequently replaced by safe predictability. However, when we consciously shift our perspective to see a world of endless potential, life becomes exciting once again. Never forget that you are limitless. No matter your age or where you start, you have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. Adopting this perspective empowers us to step up boldly and unlock our true potential. As Gloria Steinem quotes, "Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities."
Stay tuned. Coming up after the break.
And you strike me as someone that's great at manifesting, and we see so much, manifesting content online. What would you say is the key to manifesting your dreams, or anything for that matter?
Well, there's so many ways you can go about manifesting, and I'm not somebody that goes my way is right versus other people's. Like, they're all right depending on what works best for you. And for me, I tried all the things, the 3-6-9 method, the writing repetitively, which reminded me of when you were in school and you'd have to write on the chalkboard 100 times.
Yeah.
And so then I got to a point and I had this aha moment, and it wasn't very long ago, where I was like, if you trust in your purpose, if you trust in your spirit, if you trust in your entire being, then all you need to do is say it once. Say it out loud. You can write it and burn it and send it off to the universe, but say it once and let it go. Instead of putting stipulations on it about what the time frame is, how it's supposed to show up. Because a lot of people miss what they've manifested because it shows up differently than what they expected.
Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau.
Next up on the show, we have transformation and mindset coach, Kari Ghanem. With over 2 decades of experience, she is on a mission to help people break through limitations and unlock their ultimate potential. Kari, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm great, Darriel. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. You have an amazing story. I know that after 28 years old, you realized that you really wanted to help people after having a spiritual awakening. So tell us about that aha moment and what sparked that passion.
Well, I came to a point on a certain day when I turned 28 where I wasn't sure if I was going to stay here or not in the world. And I've never felt that before. And so I ended up letting go and giving in to choosing to stay. And my awakening was massive. And it was something that rocked my entire world. And when it happened, I looked around and I saw the world in a completely different light. Everything was alive. I had access to information that I'd never studied, I'd never read. And it was like I was this stream of consciousness and this open channel that allowed me to access things like triangulation of acoustic levitation using large objects. And I really started writing about, I started writing about the pyramids, and I started writing 4th and 5th differential equations. I was not a math person at all.
Wow.
And I just started allowing all of this stuff to flow through me and started journaling everything. And from that point, my entire world completely changed. And from that point to where I am now, it's a continuation and it never stops.
Wow, that's quite the story. You really did literally have a spiritual awakening where you just woke up with all this knowledge all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, because I had thought to myself that day, I was very calm, and I've never been depressed. I don't have anxiety or panic attacks. And I just woke up and I was so calm, and I was like, today's my exit point. And I sat my brother down and I said, if you don't see me after today, you and mom will be taken care of. And I told my mom the same thing. And then obviously I decided to stay because I'm still here. And then all of a sudden I just allowed myself to just release everything that I had suppressed, everything that I had held on to from traumas and everything else, and just let it go. And then it's like I woke up. That's pretty much what it felt like.
Oh, it's like you had a rebirth and you started over, right?
Absolutely.
And after 20 years in the business with being a transformational and mindset coach, what is one block that you see 90% of your clients have, and how do you help them get through that?
Well, the majority of the people that I help, whether it's clients or people that I see every day, because people just tend to open up to me when I'm in a grocery store, when I'm in a restaurant, and they start telling me their life story. They get in their own way because they're in their head, and they buy into the narrative that's spinning in their head, and that becomes their truth. And so I work with people to help them identify what is running in their head, the outmoded scripts, realize what was placed upon them from childhood or education or environment, and start removing those and rewriting their own narrative by becoming the actor, the director, and the producer of their own life.
I think most of us don't really realize how powerful we are, right? That we have this innate gift and power within us to really create our own reality. I think once we shift into that mindset, things really start to change, right?
Absolutely. But people have to remember that it's their choice. Nobody can do it for you. No external validation or external help can do it for you. You can absorb all kinds of information, read all self-help books and everything else, but if you're not applying it into your everyday life, it's not going to make a difference.
Kari, so many of us are running on old programming. It's like a tape in our head that keeps replaying the old stories, old beliefs. What can our viewers do today to kind of ditch victim mindset and start programming their minds for winning?
And we all go through it. There's not one person that is immune to dealing with that, because when we're born, we get programmed by our parents and their generations, and a lot of things get handed down and then it gets embedded into the DNA. So what you do is you have to get to a point where you give yourself permission. And that's what in one of my books I write about writing yourself a permission slip to do what you have a passion for. Do not hold back. You have to tune out the chatter. You have to tune into your own channel and have that so clear that nothing interferes. And then you take steps to go forward and do the things that you love so you can get to a life of freedom.
Very nice. And before becoming a transformational coach, I know that you owned a yoga studio. You also had a metaphysical store, and it gave you a deep understanding of holistic healing. So tell us about that gift.
So when I was born as a heightened empath, a highly sensitive person. Nobody helped guide me with understanding my gifts. And so I suppressed them for the majority of the first half of my life. And I just wanted to blend in. And then when my awakening happened at 28, everything sparked off, and I realized I was born with a sole purpose to assist humanity into elevating and to stepping into their divinity and embracing their power. When I opened my store, I've never seen myself being in front of the camera, being on social media. Everything was word of mouth, and that I enjoyed because I could stay behind the scenes and I could help those that were in need and then move on to the next. And then COVID happened. And I was pregnant with my daughter, and all of a sudden everything went online. And I was like, well, how am I going to do this? Because it wasn't something that I'd ever done before. So I tried for a year and a half to teach myself SEOs and all the tech stuff, and it was just, it got me to a point where I didn't enjoy coaching anymore. Because I was so bogged down with trying to figure out how the online stuff worked that I hired a PR team. But with my brick and mortar store, after my awakening, I opened it a few years later, and everything spread from word of mouth, and people were coming to me, and I created a safe space for people to have a voice, which is so important to me. And then I had that for a few years. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I moved to Missouri, where I am currently. And that's when everything switched. So it's like now that I'm talking to you and I've been in front of the camera quite a bit and done social media, it's something that I realized the fear existed in my mind. It wasn't reality. It was a reality to me, but only me. And when I finally broke through that barrier and I just did it, I was like, oh, I could have done this sooner.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And I also think the confidence comes when you have a passion and you're almost like a vessel, just relaying the information, right? It's not about you, it's about what you have to say and helping people. So I think that that's where the confidence comes from as well, right?
And it's about consistency and just doing it, right? It's like you've got to get past your fears, because the
Yeah.
fears that you create are in your mind, or they were placed on you from what you were told in childhood, or what your teachers told you, or what your experiences were, or any unhealed traumas. And it's like once you start doing it and you do it for yourself, that is the most important thing, is to do it for yourself, and then you're on the path to create something amazing.
Hmm. And the one thing that, strikes me about you is that you're highly empathetic. And I think that's really important, as you said, giving a safe space to your clients. So how has it been seeing your clients going from stuck to unstuck because of your coaching?
Well, it's amazing because I get very invested in my clients. They become like family to me. And being an empath, I don't know any other way to be.
Yeah.
So I get really invested, and their success is my success. So to sit back, and a lot of them at times will have resistance, because one of the things I tell my clients before they sign up with me is that I'm going to upset their ego. And they always think that I'm just joking, that I'm so nice. And then when it happens, because I get down in the trenches with my clients and we hit the wall and they want to push back, I go toe to toe with them and remind them that I'm here with them in their downs as well as to celebrate their ups, and I will always be beside of them. So when I get to witness them drop those walls and really just let go and allow the process to happen and have those aha moments, it's the most exhilarating thing that no money can buy, because it's priceless.
Hmm. And Kari, walk us through the steps of how you target the limiting beliefs with your clients. Walk us through the steps that you go through to heal past trauma or to get through limiting beliefs.
Well, one of the biggest things that I do is I ask the hard questions. And a lot of people, even coaches, aren't willing to do that because they're afraid to upset the dynamic. They're afraid to lose a client and the financial abilities that it provides them. And I'm not. And so I will push them. I ask very specific questions because I am intuitive. I can listen to someone as they start talking. And from that point, because I'm a stream of consciousness, I start formulating the questions to ask them. And people go, are you psychic? I believe that we're all psychic in some sense, but it's about being an open channel and being out of your own way and out of your own head, where you can actually genuinely communicate with the other person. And so when I ask these questions, it almost stuns them and short circuits the programming to cause them to start opening up. And then they start seeing the patterns that they have, because that's one thing I really focus on is what patterns do you have in your relationships? What patterns do you have with health? What do you tell yourself daily? And start getting them to slow down, tune into their own channel, and really start listening to the messages that they are giving themselves, and then redirect them to elevate and uplift themselves instead of looking for external validation.
I think that's so important. External validation, I think that's really one of the biggest blocks that people face, is because they're constantly looking on the outside for validation, and then they feel stuck because they never get it. But when you validate yourself, you become powerful, because you don't need anyone to tell you that you're great. You don't need anyone to tell you that you can do it. You just kind of know. You have a knowing, right?
Absolutely. And see, the way that I know that nothing that I coach is from anything that I've read. It's from a life that's been lived. And it's like I spent the first half of my life being a people pleaser and being a yes person and always seeking external validation. And if anybody would challenge me on that, I'd be like, that's just how I am. But that was not the case. It was literally me hiding from myself and not wanting to get in touch with those unhealed traumas and wounds that I needed to face. And so when I work with my clients, I help them go deep in a safe space to be able to open up and really start addressing those without fear of judgment or ridicule or anything like that.
And Kari, you're also an author. I know that you have a new book out. Tell us about that book.
Well, I have 2 books out, and I know one I will not say the name. I have Words to Enliven the Soul, which is my original photography. And I wanted to create a book that could be picked up in doctor's offices or, when you're waiting somewhere, that's a nice coffee table book with my photography and inspirational writings just to uplift people about their day. And then my other book, which is unscripted, no F's given, I won't say it, is all about, writing yourself the permission slip, going deep and uncovering the outmoded scripts. And it's super amazing. And it's supposed to be released this year. And it's one of my babies. And the publishing house that I'm working with is Franklin Publishers. And they are very excited about featuring it. And it's going to be a big deal. And I'm really excited. So
that sounds amazing. We're going to link that information so our viewers can purchase your books. And, I feel like with social media, there's so much comparison. We're constantly scrolling, comparing our lives to other people's highlight reels. How would you recommend us or people just to stop doing that, just to stop comparing? Because I feel like that really hinders people's growth, right?
And it's sad because, I've lived, quite a few decades. And it's funny when I look back at how we would pass notes in school. And we would get in trouble for that, right? But that's how we communicated. And now we're in an age where it's all tech driven, it's all comparison, it's all curated, right? And it's like, so people get caught up and really believe that this is the person and that's their whole life. And then they do compare themselves, and it can cause a lot of issues, with eating, with image, body image, and all of those things. And it's like, so it's okay to view those things, but when you use them as a format to mirror your life after, I don't think it's the best thing because you're unique. There's only one of you. There are no two that are alike. So you have to turn within and become in love with yourself, investigate your own mystery, and find out what makes you stand out in the world, what makes you outside of all of the other ones. Because like I say, you can't recreate an original, all else are carbon copies, and each one of us is an original. So when you remember that, you can apply that and then have your own brand and your own style and flavor on anything that you do.
Absolutely. We are one if one, right?
Absolutely.
And, you strike me as someone that's great at manifesting, and we see so much, manifesting content online. What would you say is the key to manifesting your dreams or anything for that matter?
Well, there's so many ways you can go about manifesting, and I'm not somebody that goes my way is right versus other people's. Like, they're all right depending on what works best for you. And for me, I tried all the things, the 3-6-9 method, the writing repetitively, which reminded me of when you were in school and you'd have to write on the chalkboard 100 times.
Yeah.
And so then I got to a point and I had this aha moment, and it wasn't very long ago, where I was like, if you trust in your purpose, if you trust in your spirit, if you trust in your entire being, then all you need to do is say it once. Say it out loud. You can write it and burn it and send it off to the universe, but say it once and let it go. Instead of putting stipulations on it about what the time frame is, how it's supposed to show up. Because a lot of people miss what they've manifested because it shows up differently than what they expected.
I like that. Set it and forget it, right? Just trust in your own power, then you can just kind of command it and let it go, because the more that you look for it, right, the more that you get evidence that you don't have it. So I love that, just coming from a place of already having it, right?
Yeah, because it's like when you're constantly being repetitive, even though that's how our world's created, right? Repetition, just like education. But it's like when you keep repeating it, it's sending a signal that you have a doubt that it's not happening. And you just have to trust that if it's meant for you and it's the best thing for you, that it will appear.
Absolutely. And Kari, I created my platform to inspire, to uplift, and to really showcase that anything is possible with passion and determination. So for any of our viewers that are watching this and just going through a tough time, maybe not seeing their dreams manifest and just kind of struggling, what would you say to uplift and inspire them?
I tell people to be delusional.
Yes.
It is a very big thing. And people sometimes go, what do you mean delusional? I'm like, be as out there and as abstract as you possibly can be. It doesn't matter how crazy it sounds to other people because your journey is not their journey.
Yeah.
So when you are delusional, like a child is, right? Children have imagination. They don't care if it's right or wrong. They don't care if you approve or not. They're doing it because it pleases them. So when you're delusional and you put yourself out there and you get super creative, you can rise above all of that outmoded crap that's running in your mind and tune out everybody else's voice. And then when you show up and you've actually manifested it into a practical application and reality, it shocks everybody. But just do it. Remember to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Do it for you first.
I love that. And Kari, where can our viewers learn more about your story and as well get coached by you, get one-on-one coaching?
You can go to www.KariGhanem.com, KariGhanem.com. And you'll find everything there as well as all my social media platforms and all of my videos.
Perfect. We're going to link that information so our viewers
Thank
can
you.
get some coaching from you. Thank you so much, Kari, for being on the show today. You're such a light, and I really see that you're helping others from a genuine place. So it's really nice, and keep up the amazing work.
And one thing I wanted to do is my daughter wanted to meet you. So this is my daughter, Lyric.
So cute. Hi, how are you?
She's the love of my life and one of the reasons why I continue to do what I do because she is a special soul. And so I'm guiding her so she understands how to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Well, there's a big future for you. So,
But I appreciate you, Darriel. You're amazing. And I hope to be able to communicate with you again.
Absolutely. We're going to keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. The Darriel Roy Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.